Hello everyone, this is PHTV4. I'm Sue Jankowski, and we are meeting with Moraine today. And we have Dave O'Connor here today. He is the Assistant Professor of Criminal Justice and Program Coordinator for the Paralegal Studies Program. Sounds like a lot of responsibility to me. It's a pretty long title. I'm really glad you're here today, Dave. This is exciting. I think this is a really interesting subject matter for most people, most of our viewers. But before we get into what entails in this program, can you tell us your background, how you got involved in teaching at Moraine Valley, how long you've been there, and so forth?
Sure. Happy to be here. And by way of background, I'm an attorney by trade. I've been practicing law for about 38 years or so. And about 37 of those years I've been teaching at Moraine Valley.
Wow.
So the vast majority of my career, I've taught at least part-time at Moraine, and over the course of the last 5-6 years or so, full-time.
Wow, okay. So this must hold a lot of interest for you to work with students to prepare them to do the things that you needed to know as an attorney. So is that basically what kind of drew you in, is the communication with people?
Sure. I mean, I've always loved teaching. It's been an ongoing passion of mine. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been there for almost 40 years.
Yeah, that's so true.
But no, I enjoy working with the students. It's always great to have students come in and perhaps be a little uncertain as to what career path they want to take, and sometimes we're able to spark an interest that suddenly causes them to really grab hold and move down a career path. And I think that with some of the changes that we're making currently, that has the potentiality of happening again.
It sounds like it. And I think what you said is so true, with students not knowing exactly what they want to do and then getting involved in a particular program and thinking, wow, this is for me, or, oh, this isn't what I thought. And that's kind of a nice way, excuse me, that's one of the things that's really so great about Moraine Valley, is it's that leaping off, finding your niche, and then continuing on to what you love. So, and obviously you love what you do, because you've done it for so many years. You would stop doing it if you didn't love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we are talking about Moraine Valley's new crime lab, new investigation course, and we're going to find out about the crime lab and how this got started. And actually, I'm really excited to learn about this too. I was talking to Dave before we got started about crime labs and our perception of them and the reality. So first of all, we're going to talk about the facility, the space that this lab holds, how many rooms, do you have special equipment? Like what would a crime lab look like? I would have no idea, really.
Well, what basically happened was that we took a classroom, and thankfully the administration was behind this idea from the very get-go. And we took a classroom immediately upon the spring semester ending. Construction crews were basically waiting in the hallway. It had to be that quick in order to get ready for the fall semester. And they began demolition and began the construction end of things. And so now construction is basically done. We're moving in various furnishings and stuff to make this look like an apartment. And it provides us the ability to have various types of crime scenes in which the students can learn from and can apply their newfound skills that we're going to be teaching on an ongoing basis.
So it's really kind of a hands-on kind of situation where they're going into a crime scene and they have to find out a solution, basically.
In a sense, yes. You know, I've taught investigations for years and years, and a part of teaching investigations, it's really a 30,000 foot overview. And it's one thing to tell students, hey, here's how it actually happens in a criminal investigation. It's a whole nother thing to be a part of it and having to actually make decisions about what to do, how to do it, and because you can literally make or break a criminal investigation based upon your skill set and your judgment. So if students are suddenly immersed in that reality, they come out with a much better appreciation for what that career could mean, as opposed to perhaps the Hollywood version, in which they might come in with that thought, oh, I know all about this based upon I watch CSI, so now I know. And in reality, that's not necessarily true. This is an opportunity for them to actually see what reality is about.
I think too, when you said that you kind of make or break a case, and on TV, not just on the news, they'll say, well, this was thrown out of court for this reason, and it all has to do with evidence, or the evidence was not collected properly, or they went down the wrong path, or they didn't do enough. And you can, as the person doing the investigating, you can change the way that case, either for the good or bad, you can change the way the course is if you don't know what you're doing. Really.
Absolutely. I mean, I was a prosecutor for 20 years, so I've lived this life. I've seen things go great in courtrooms, and I've seen things go poorly in courtrooms. Mm-hmm. So I have a certain repository of experiences that I can certainly pass on to the students and let them know that if this isn't done right, if it's not done professionally, if it's not done with integrity, bad things can happen.
Right.
And once again, it's a greater level of appreciation that I think that they will take away.
I think, too, I would guess that with technology, things have gotten a little bit more sophisticated than, as time goes on, but yet there's some basic things that need to be done in a crime situation that probably haven't changed much over the years.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. There are some things that have remained fairly static. It's a matter of just doing it in a certain progression, doing it professionally, and then there's other things like, biological evidence, DNA, that have become game changers over the course of a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, that's so true. Who would use this? Who would join the program to be in the crime lab? Is this strictly police enforcement? Who's going to be in your classes?
The majority of the students that will have come through that course are criminal justice students. So many of them are interested in policing. Many of them are. There's been an increase in the number of students that have shown an interest in CSI type investigations. They're very interested in the possibility of processing a crime scene. And that's probably sparked by some of the television that they are watching. Mm-hmm. But they're coming in, they're asking questions about those types of things. And then we also have some students who are interested in doing lab work. So it's going to be kind of a mix of different interests, but they all want to move primarily into some type of criminal justice field. So would you say that they kind of lose, are there kids, students, they're not all kids, and that's the nice thing. Again, I always talk about how great Moraine Valley is because it's for everybody. It's people who want to change a career or enhance their career. Do you get people coming in, or will they come in from, needing some more information, say people who are in the criminal justice system, like they want to change what they're doing? Do you get that kind of student who then says, I could use a brush up or find out new ways to do things? Would they be part of this? It's possible. The majority are going to be prior to that, though. I mean, the folks that we have, and you made a great point, some of our students are not the 18, 19-year-olds,
right,
but some of them are into a second career.
Yeah.
And so they're interested in going into some type of criminal justice career, even though they're a bit older. What I think the official term is non-traditional.
I like that.
So they're also involved in this as well. We want to make sure that whatever we end up doing, that our curriculum is such that it hits a lot of different areas that they theoretically could go into, whether it's policing, or whether it's lab work, or whether it's the law. We're going to be hitting each of those components so that they, once again, come away with a real appreciation for what reality is.
Okay, so for example, if they wanted to stick with this and they wanted to do crime investigation, for the most part, law firms have someone like in a criminal investigation department? Like, do they hire people that way? I'm wondering where are they going to get a job at the end of this?
If they continue down this path, they're likely to get a job in one of two areas, the majority of them. One, policing, because the vast majority of crime scene investigations are still being conducted by evidence technicians, forensic investigators who process these scenes. Most of those are police officers who are very well trained in that area. The second possibility is working for like the Illinois State Police Crime Lab. There's a lot of evidence that has to be processed by the State Police Crime Lab. And that means if there's a lot of evidence, like hundreds of thousands of pieces of evidence, that means there better be enough forensic scientists to be able to analyze those items. So for some of the folks who want to go down more of a science path, that would be the likely pathway to a career.
Well, that's kind of good to know, because you might not really be interested in joining like a police force in law enforcement, but you might enjoy the process of doing that science project, really, investigation. Okay, that's good that there's two avenues for different kinds of people who.
And I've had students that say, you know what, the policing isn't really for me. That's not. I don't see me going down that path. However, I'm really good in the sciences. I really think I could work in a crime lab, and we absolutely encourage that. The partnerships that we have set up with a lot of the law enforcement agencies really inure to the benefit of the Moraine Valley students.
Yeah, that would really be great. And you do have a partnership with some outside agencies.
Absolutely. Myself, my criminal justice colleagues, we've all been practitioners out in the field. And so that's one of the great things about Moraine is that you're being taught by people who've actually done the job as opposed to strictly academics. So we can say, we see what you read in the chapter. This is all true. However, here's what's really important and what we often encounter in the field.
Yeah, that experience is so valuable, that you've had the experience and it's not always a textbook situation. Right. That's great. So there's so in criminal justice, this would be one thing that goes on, the new crime lab. But there's other parts to the criminal justice system. Is this like a program where at the end you get certified or your 2-year degree is in the criminal justice system? How does this shake out at the end of it?
We have an applied associate's degree in which students have to earn 60 credit hours in order to get a degree in criminal justice. This would be a mandatory course that they would have to take.
Okay.
So this is one of our what we call a required course as opposed to an elective course.
So everyone interested in this will be taking this. Actually, I think that they would feel that's a necessary part of what they're doing. So this is new. Now, you haven't really begun this yet, and we will begin in August, September, whatever.
Yes.
So what were you doing before this happened? I mean, this has got to be such a great boon to your coursework.
Well, as I kind of alluded to, we taught an investigations course, and it's a very good course. It's a solid course, but we have a lot of students say, is there anything beyond just this investigations course? Can I take some other type of investigations course? And we really didn't have anything available. This now allows us for us to say, yeah, you can take the forensic and criminal and crime scene investigations course. So now it gives them something else that they can take, and quite frankly, they will be better prepared for the next step in their lives if they go into a criminal justice field because they've taken this course. Investigations, as I said, more of an overview. Now that we have this course, now this is immersive, it's in-depth, they will greatly appreciate the things that we're talking about, because if they go out into that criminal justice field, they're going to encounter the things we're discussing.
So with the new crime lab, are there, so it's a whole course, so is it like kind of a situation where your crime lab changes on a weekly or a biweekly basis, so it's a different type of crime or different things happen. So, I mean, you'd have to change your evidence. So you've got to be kind of almost like a director to make this be different every time. How does that work?
To some degree, that's absolutely true, but we got to make sure that the students can run or walk before they can run. So in other words, before we ever get to actually processing a mock crime scene, they have to understand how is it that a crime scene is sketched? How is it that it's photographed? How is it that the photography has the correct lighting? How is it that once it's properly photographed, what's the walkthrough? What are you collecting first? How are you going to collect that? I see biological evidence. I see physical evidence. There's potential trace evidence. How is it that I try to collect latent fingerprints? So we have to handle all of those various modules first before they ever get to, okay, here's your crime scene, go. You know, they got to understand what they have to do first. So we're taking that module by module, and then towards the end of the class, we're going to have some mock crime scenes set up in full, as opposed to maybe just partial, and they will then have to do it from beginning to end.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. All the things that you just mentioned, I'm thinking you burst into the crime scene and you start, doing something. I'm not sure what, but you start doing something. But just the photography, having that be right and lit properly, and you're taking pictures of the right things and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of tiny details that make a crime scene valid in a court of law.
And you'll notice that Hollywood doesn't exactly spend any time on that.
No, they don't.
No.
I was talking to Dave before we started, and I said, I'm used to the crime lab where they're pointing at like this window and some neon lights appear and grids, and they just hone in on somebody.
Right.
And it just takes them so short, really, to do that. It's about 15 minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, even I've certainly have had cases in which I got I got all the photographs, and I realized that the photography messed it up.
Oh,
they didn't have the right lighting. They weren't utilizing certain types of lighting for that particular scene, and there's no second chance. There's no recreations. So you're really relying upon the skills of those evidence technicians when they're out on the scene.
Yes, and I think it's come a long way. I hate to bring up O.J. Simpson, but that was such a mess, that whole crime scene thing, that it seems to me like from that point on, things have gotten a little more educated for people, managing a crime scene.
I think so. I mean, I think there wasn't really anything particularly new about the O.J. case as far as the processing of the scene, but what it did expose to the world, including law enforcement, was how important this is and what can happen to you if you don't do it right. The evidence technician in that particular case was on the stand for 18 days. I've never seen a witness on the stand for 18 days.
Wow.
That one was.
Wow.
And the defense did a good job in pointing out all the times that there was violation of protocol, that it should have been done in a certain way, and it wasn't. So they exposed all the vulnerabilities that the evidence technicians had when they were collecting that evidence.
Yeah, and that's so important.
Yes.
And I think, I'm sure the people that are going to be taking this course are pretty serious about it, because it's a real serious business anytime you're dealing with something like that. Is this the CRJ, I'm seeing this numbers here, CRJ 203 course? Is that's what this is?
Yes, so the CRJ 203 is our course code for forensic and crime scene investigations.
Okay, so you don't just sign up for that, right? Or you do? How does that work?
Our students certainly can. However, there is one prerequisite, and that's the investigations course. So the students are going to have to take investigations, get a better understanding as to what a criminal investigation is all about, and then once they have that foundation, then they're ready to take this course.
And their guidance advisor would be able to help them through that if they wanted to.
Yep.
Okay, so does anybody come in who, I suppose not really in law enforcement already? I kind of asked that question before, but I'm just curious, is it all people new to the field that are coming into Moraine Valley to get this information so that they can move forward?
Yeah, in the policing world, you know, a good department will constantly be training their police officers. All the new techniques, there's a lot of different education available for them. That's where they will go to get their ongoing education.
I see. Okay.
So they wouldn't really be going back to our level.
Which is more the start up
Right.
of that.
These are the students who are basically want to get there to where the police officers or where the crime lab folks are. So we're kind of at the ground level.
Okay. Have you found that any of the students that you've worked with start with the criminal justice at Moraine Valley and then they decide, you know what, I'm going to go further. I want to get a 4-year degree. I want to go to law school, you know, that kind of thing. And this is like a good start for them.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of my students have gone on and either have gone into the policing world, have gone on and went to law school. Some have gone on and become, I know one of them has even become a judge. So,
wow.
So there's been certainly a number of folks that have passed through the Moraine Valley doors over the years that have gone on to have very successful careers.
Okay. And I think that's important too, we have a nice system that you can, at the end of the 2 years, you're qualified to get a job somewhere doing this, or you can move on. I think that's what's really important about Moraine Valley. I mean, there's so many things, but Moraine Valley Community College is not, it can be the end for you and you go out into the world and do your job, or it can be the start of you knowing, I like this and I'm going to continue schooling to do more.
Absolutely true. And paralegal studies is a good example of that. Our folks, our students get a 2-year degree, and the vast majority of them are going right out into the working world, getting jobs with various law firms, different types of offices, and doing paralegal work after a 2-year degree and making a pretty good living doing it. There are other professions where a bachelor's degree would either be suggested or necessary. And then there are, of course, some of our students go on and go to graduate school as well.
Yeah, that's what's really nice. And just to bring up finances a little, Moraine Valley is, you're able to go to school and it doesn't break the bank.
Nope.
You're not taking out gigantic loans. You know, there is, of course, fees to be paid, but it's affordable, and I think that's what's really nice too. You get a fantastic education. I mean, this is great. If you are involved and you want to be in criminal justice as your career, this is a great start. Dave, is there anything else we need to know about this? I mean, it's just starting up this year, so this will be new,
right?
And that's really exciting. And I would think the students that are already in the classes are kind of excited about, a new aspect that they can participate in.
Yeah, I've received emails from students who have already enrolled that say, I can't wait for this to start.
Yeah.
So they are excited about it. And because they also have had a preview as far as some of the things, topics that we're going to be covering. So they're very excited about the prospect of learning more about that. And I should also mention, Sue, is this is kind of a collaborative effort. Not only is the criminal justice program, but we've developed partnerships with a lot of the law enforcement folks. The Illinois State Police were absolutely the best as far as us explaining what our vision was, what we were looking to try to do, creating a crime lab at the community college level. And once they understood it, they were completely on board. They're like, what do you need? How can we help? So the state police were tremendous. Orland Park Police were great. Cook County State's Attorney's Office, great. So they're all providing different forms of resources because I think they recognize what a unique experience this is and how important it is to get people trained at an early stage, set that foundation for a more successful career.
That's really great to know, and they are so helpful that way to help you figure out what are they looking for, so you get it right when you create this lab experience. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity for you if you're interested in criminal justice. Dave, thanks so much for coming in today. And hopefully you will go out and maybe join in this particular field of study. Dave could be one of your teachers.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you love it. Well, you must after almost 40 years.
Yeah, right.
And I don't see you thinking you're not going to be doing it anytime soon.
No,
you just started a whole new thing.
Yeah, I'll hang in there for a while.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You just get something new started, and that's always fun. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching us. We always have something so interesting happening at Moraine Valley Community College. I hope that you found this interesting and that you head over there and take some classes. See you next time on Meet with Moraine. Bye for now.